Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Bryce Koon. College football week 1 is nearly in the books. Ralph, Larry, and Will Man is going to be joining me as we get ready to talk about what happened over the long weekend, what's currently happening in Chapel Hill, and what is a massive overreaction in the college football world. Where should you be sitting as we enter week number 2? It's here. It's alive. And yeah, we're going to be doing some best bets. We'll see you next time. Not next time. In about 30 seconds here on the Credit Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The crowded booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.
All right, we welcome you in here on a Monday evening. Happy Labor Day to you. Hope it was a good long weekend for you. Work starts tomorrow for the majority of people. Will's decked out in Auburn gear.
Who won? Who won this weekend? I don't know. Does anybody know?
Now, I'm just glad 72 hours later you're happy about the win. That's what I'm glad, because you're 1-0.
Yeah. Friday night, I did not feel great about it. That's why I waited till Saturday morning to record that, because I had to sleep on it. Because I still don't feel great about it. Auburn's got a lot to fix. Auburn has a lot to fix.
Well, Dr. Bob says, why are we streaming instead of watching a furry take on Mr. Jordan Hudson's team? That's crazy. Joe says, Will Man is about to be a loading, not a visor. The visor looks good. I like that. Is that a retro visor, or did you just buy that and now and wear it like it's actually old?
No, I bought this 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, so it's not like
Will's a visor guy. He can
or
rock
more.
a visor.
No, I'm not a visor guy. My wife thinks visors are stupid.
Well, I like the.
So I'm not allowed to be a visor guy. Although I think it works.
I agree.
I do. Austin Bodley. Austin called me last night.
I'm sorry.
I didn't answer. I didn't even know he called me. I saw it today. Someone else called me on Friday night too. That was wild. Let's talk a little college football though, fellas. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Man, week 1 is not only here and almost gone. It's kind of interesting, the fact that we're sitting here with college football going on the TV. Bill Belichick is coaching North Carolina. Is the score still 7-0, by the way?
Yes,
it is. Okay. That was my best bet, TCU minus 3.5. So I might be the first one to go down. Let's start off with best bets. Why don't we? Let's just kick it off right there. Ralph, congratulations. Another win. You're 2-0. Will.
no sweat this week. It's great.
Will, how are you feeling about going 2-0 this week? I mean, that was
Never a doubt.
never a doubt.
I told the same thing.
Never a doubt. I told you
Not
Georgia doesn't cover.
Kirby can't cover.
But I'm thankful that Kirby Smart finally called off the dogs against a very, very, very bad Marshall team. Very bad.
Austin P looked really good last weekend. They upset a top 10 FCS team, and they're going to Athens this week. Will Austin P put up a bigger fight than Marshall?
No.
We'll see. Will with the half-point bet. Yeah, it was
Hey, a win's a win.
Win's a
No
win.
matter how you get it.
I got TCU minus 3.5 tonight. That's not looking too good, but we'll see.
They're driving.
They're driving.
Who is TCU? Josh
TCU.
Hoover,
Yeah,
Okay.
furry.
boy. He's driving. Hey, we've got two big topics of conversation. Well, two big themes tonight. We're going to dominate the entire show here and talk about this. Let's start off though by liking and subscribing to the stream. But let's also start off with talking about winners of the week. I'm going to go first here. Will's going to go second, and Ralph's going to go third. My winner of the week, Dr. Bob's going to like this one. It's John freaking Sumrall. John, okay, if you didn't know what
middle name.
Yeah, that is, by the way. Well, it's not. It's a little more colorful than that. That would be honest to God. I'd hire him as the head coach right then and there. If that was your middle name, yeah, I would. John Sumrall is my winner of the week. Why? 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
And Tulane wanted to wear white jerseys, which I guess the story behind, I guess they wore them the year after. I'm not necessarily sure what the story of the white jersey was. They requested to wear white. Northwestern comes down, and they said no. So John Sumrall, also, by the way, Tulane beats the crap out of a bad Northwestern team. John Summerall says post-game, essentially, when you come after the city of New Orleans and you disrespect the city of New Orleans, this is what you get. We're going to run the score up on you, and we're going to run it up. Hats off to John Summerall. There's not a lot of ball coaches left in college football. John Summerall is a ball coach. He's my winner of the week. Tulane looks really good. They head on the road to South Alabama this week, I think. And man, it's I'm a big John Summerall fan. We talk about it all the time. I know Ralph has a love-hate relationship with him. And
It's
Will
mostly
love him even more one day.
with Dana Holgerson, but it's
Will wants-
mostly his fault.
It's the three different. It's a love triangle with John Summerall. John's in the middle. I love him. Ralph used to love him. Ralph is the ex, and Will is the bride to be for John Summerall. So that's where we're going. Hopefully. No, shout out John.
He goes to a
Summerall.
different school in the state, then my
Oh,
happiness will be over. My happiness will be sapped just like that.
No, dude, Charles Kelly's going to do great at Jacksonville State. You don't have to worry about that. That's my winner of the week. Will,
You know what I'm talking about.
I know you're rocking the Auburn gear, so you're going to throw back your winner of the week to a former Auburn head coach. We're going to talk more about this game later, but why is Gus your winner of the week right there?
Because Gus was in his bag. I've been saying it all summer long. Like, do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. And then, like a coward, I didn't take it as my best bet, Florida State plus 14.5. I never would have thought Florida State would have won that game outright. But my gosh, I mean, that was so much fun. That was old school Gus Malzahn at his best. He's got the personnel to do it at Florida State. First time he's had it in a while, although funny enough, he had Tommy Castellanos at UCF and refused to play him. Yes.
I forgot about that.
He chose John Rice Plumlee over Tommy Castellanos.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he gets a chance at redemption and comes up big. But, I think just this was like a culture change from Florida State. I mean, Florida State overall, and even with Gus, the big winner of the week, we're looking at a totally different culture. This is different from when they were 12-0 and should have made the playoff. Against Alabama, this team looked way different than that team. Because old school Gus Malzahn is a ton of fun. When his offense is clicking and it works, it is so much fun to watch.
Impossible to stop, too.
Everything starts with power, starts with inside zone. And when you're knocking guys off the line of scrimmage, like Florida State was knocking Alabama off the line of scrimmage, that offense will hum. And it hummed for 4 quarters. Florida State and Gus, the big winners. Gus, the big winner because he's going to be a head coach next year. He's back in the seat. I think it showed. There's still a lot of juice, a lot of gas left in the Gus bus, and he's finally. I'm gonna say it. He's in 20. What's next year? 2026. I don't even know the year.
2026.
2026. Gus will finally have what was his original dream job in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Wow. Okay.
Because Rhett Lashley is not going to leave SMU.
Future Tulane head coach Gus Malzahn, Dr. Bob says.
No shot.
I would love Gus back to Auburn, but I can't see that happening.
Gus to Auburn.
Can't see it happening.
Winner of the week for Key to Success is Meme Makers having, I don't know what
Meme
makers.
I read it as Mimi because that's what I used to call my great grandmother, and she passed away. Winner of the week is Meme Makers having Arch Manning in their lives. That's true. Ralph, I've got John Summerall with Tulane. Will has Gus Malzahn. Who is your winner of the week? And please don't tell me that it's your boy down in Troy, Alabama that escaped.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm staying Group of 5 though. I have to go down to Tampa, the South Florida, and Alex Golish, an absolute beat down on Boise State this week on Thursday night or Friday. Yeah, Thursday night, wasn't it? Yeah. On Thursday night, embarrassing the playoff team from last year's Boise State, beating them at home outright, just brutally. I mean, it really was. I mean, Alex Golish's team was ready to play from the first snap. Their quarterback is a headhunter. which is terrifying to say. Your quarterback's trying to run people over. He's not, just taking hits. No, he's actually trying to run you over. There was one play in the game where he, I think it was first quarter. The safety hit him late and kind of taunted him a little bit. The next play, he runs and trucks that safety again. It's truly just an impressive turnaround that South Florida's had in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think I have him as one of my top G5 schools going into this week.
Key to success is actually Tennessee proving they can still impress with everyone breathing down their necks about the quarterback situation. Joe the Pilot says winner of the week is Carson Beck. He beat the team Georgia couldn't.
Hey, I called that one too, even though I picked Notre Dame to win the game.
The algorithm. That's a good one, Dave.
That's the loser of the week.
I don't know.
Oregon State letting Cal hang. What they hang 40 on them?
It was not pretty. It was not pretty.
Auburn fans. Cal having a stunning freshman quarterback. Yeah, that kid's really, really good. He'll be there for 1 year and leave.
Yeah, stay next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, winners of the week. It's college football. It's week number 1. Those are our winners of the week. You go across the college football landscape and look at a couple of different ones. But I will tell you this. We've got a lot more to talk about. Who's the loser of the week?
We all have the same one.
It's Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer's the loser of the week. Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer. Listen.
I'm agreeing with Dev.
Oh, God.
Kalen DeBoer needs to deactivate his Twitter account. He needs to block any phone number that's not up on his phone that he does not have saved. Honestly, everybody should pray for Kalen DeBoer because what he is about to go through or what he's already started to go through, I'm sure at this point, nobody should have to go through.
We're going to talk about that on the other side of this commercial break. Yeah. Wow. There you go. Dr. Bob, Kalen DeBoer, the Brian Harsin.
It might be worse.
Might be worse. Well, that's wild. That is. Let me remind you, Will, how bad it is. I don't know if I need to remind you how bad it was.
You don't have to remind me. It's worse because he inherited a much better roster.
Oh, true. Very true. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about those big overreactions from week 1. It's a big week to do that. But you know what you're not overreacting about? And it's about our friends over at All Natural BS, the bug spray that really, really works, providing effective chemical-free solutions for your home, garden, patio, tailgate. Look, we're in the middle. We're not in the middle. We've just started college football season, but we're in the middle of that time where you're wanting to still get outside with your friends and family, where you're still wanting to do different things. You need to make sure that you're protecting not just yourself, but your loved ones there as well. All natural bug spray that really, really works, and that is no BS. All right, so we're talking here about overreactions. Loser, Joe the Pilot spelling. Let's talk about the biggest overreactions. Now, these are going to be inflammatory conversations.
I know. Read my text from.
Oh, we read it
on Friday night.
Yes. The biggest overreactions from week 1, and let's just talk about this because Will said he had a monologue prepared. It talks about what we were just talking about before the break. What is happening in Livingston, Alabama? That's what we need to know. No, Tuscaloosa, Alabama is West Alabama, but it's a little bit further west. No, what is happening in Tuscaloosa? You gotta love it. I knew you were going to do that. Tuscaloosa, Alabama is everything can't be okay there right now. I just want to say this, and Will, I'm going to really hand the reins to you with this one because I know you've got certain feelings about it, and I can already know what I'm titling the clip video of this. Auburn fan spouts off on Alabama football. But this isn't good. He's 5-5 in his last 10 games. And I will agree with you. I don't think this is a blip if you're Alabama. I don't think it is. I think they still have talent. What you saw on the field on Saturday was a lack of interest and effort out of Alabama that we've never seen. Like, to my recollection of watching college football and understanding what's going on, right? Nick Saban got there in 2007. We were all around 8-9 years old. To what we could really remember and understand, we've never seen Alabama look like that, like ever. And so the biggest overreaction of the weekend, and one of them, and Will, this is kind of yours. I'll let you take it. What's happening? What are we witnessing? What are we witnessing? The beginning of the end of the Alabama run of dominance.
It's over. It's over. Even Pete agrees. He's here. He agrees. The era of crimson oppression is over. It is over. This game, it's monumental. The dynasty won't officially be over for, I don't know, another year, maybe 2 years, because of, like you said, the talent that's already there. But it's over. I mean, this is the Berlin Wall falling for the Soviet Union. I mean, this is on the same of a college football parallel to that, and it took the man that was created to take down Alabama. He almost did it on the Plains. He couldn't quite finish him off, but he goes to Florida State and has put the nail in the coffin, the knife in the chest. Gus Malzahn has finally ended the era of crimson oppression. It's over. Alabama is done. Put a fork in him. Put a fork in Kalen DeBoer. He's done. Like you said, Bryce, lack of interest, lack of effort. I mean, there is no reason a team that good as a 2-touchdown favorite should be losing, period, much less by 2 touchdowns. But they got beat in every aspect of the game from the first snap of the game. I mean, I went back and watched some things. Alabama had players laughing and joking around when Florida State is kneeling out the game.
Yeah.
This would never, ever happen under Nick Saban. The 18 years he worked to get the culture that he had to have to be great is done. It's reversed in how many games has he played? 14 games. It's reversed. It's gone. It's the caliber of players. It's the type of players, the personality of players that DeBoer has recruited. It's gone. It's over. It's going to take somebody like Nick Saban to bring it back, and I don't think there is anybody else like that.
Ralph?
Are you asking me to comment on that or just go to mine?
No, we're talking about we're going to spend some time on this one. I mean, this is.
Look, I'll say this: I have a lot of Alabama friends, fans that I work with, that I hang out with, and I know, and I got family that are Alabama fans. What I've heard is that this is one of the most embarrassing starts to the season they've ever seen in their entire life. Now, I got one that's been there who's been a fan for 30 plus years. And he watched it before Saban. He watched the Mike and Mike years. You know, it's just some of the worst. He goes, this was an embarrassing loss. You know, he read the stories about the players, you know, staying up at past curfew, getting DoorDash to the hotel. He read all that and he goes, it would not shock me if DeBoer is letting that happen because this it feels like we've gone soft. And you watched that press conference today. It's embarrassing. Now,
Gavin, can you pull that up, by the way? Can you pull that clip up while we keep talking here?
Yeah. Will, I'm not going to down what you're saying. I won't say it's the end just yet. I need to see one more bad loss, I think, before I say it.
Gavin, pull up the Vince Carter gif while you're at it.
But look, it's not a great. And I go back, even look at last year. I think what did it say? Someone said Nick Saban took 128 games to lose 4 games to unranked opponents. He's lost 5 now? I think 14. In 14 games. 4 and 4. Yeah, it's there's no knock to that because college football is a different world now with NIL and everything going on. But there's some games last year where you think, man, they really could have won that game. But look at this year, like, man, they really looked bad in those games last year, and they probably should have won some of those games, but they didn't. And now everything's kind of coming together. Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane stat, by the way. Also, weren't they tied with Ohio State with the most first games, kickoffs of the year, be undefeated, like 28 in a row? Are they lost
something like that?
Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane stat to lose and this is not to Florida State, by the way. Florida State played a great game, and they even almost slowed down in the second half, and they still couldn't keep up. So,
well, Saban played in the air when no one
I'm
else
tired of hearing this argument.
Everybody paid players, by the way.
Everybody was paying
everybody.
players.
Yeah. Everybody.
So
if you weren't,
doesn't matter. And here's the deal, and we're gonna see this. If Alabama had money, like everybody tries to claim that they have had money and they're paying players and doing this, that, and the other, they would fire Kalen DeBoer and pay him $70 million right now, because that is inexcusable. It's unexplainable. It should never happen. But they are not flush with cash. Auburn has more money than Alabama does.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on it. I was Johnny Manziel said this over the weekend, and he says a lot of things. And Ralph and I talked a little bit about this today, and I 110% agree. People don't fear Alabama anymore. And Ralph said this, like, you shouldn't, if you fear somebody, you shouldn't play them. And I get that's the right mentality to have. But there was an actual, we'll use what the kids are saying, an aura, a little bit of, like, about what they did. You know what I mean? Like, about Alabama, this mystique when you went to Bryant-Denny, in terms of like, oh my gosh, this is a Nick Saban-led team. They've got NFL guys. It's too deep of NFL guys. How many times over the past decade have we talked about Alabama's too deep is an NFL roster, right? Okay. People don't fear them anymore. There's not this mystique about Alabama where everything about them scares you and you want to think you can win, but you don't feel confident about it. And the reason I say that is because there's been very few teams that actually think they could go win when they play Alabama. Auburn being one of them, because it's a rivalry game, and that. I'd probably say the 2019 LSU team felt like they could go into Tuscaloosa and beat them because but you had to have an all godly team. You had to have something crazy. And Johnny Manziel talked about that. Like, we had our group and myself who we like, hey, why not? Like, why not us? There's a lot of things about this that are really interesting. And Bobby says it's not that they lost, it's the way that they lost. I would say it is the fact that they lost to a certain extent, but it is also very much the way it's actually insane. All right, here's the clip right here. Let's play this real quick. This is Kalen DeBoer, Gavin, correct me if I'm wrong, talking today to the media about last week. Now, if you can follow this,
week before the game, just how much do you self-scout the preparation before games? And are there times as a coach where maybe you notice during the week that things might not be going the way that you want them to?
You said, what do you mean, great week?
A great week. You said a great week of preparation.
For this week, you're saying, or are you referring to last
going
week?
Up to Florida State before that game?
I said that?
You said that, yeah, before.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now listen. I'm going to say this about that clip right there. That is what you see when someone gets caught and they don't really know what they're trying to say. And they're stalling so they can think on the fly of what they're trying to say. I'm going to be real with you. And like I said, this is outlandish. We're getting crazy here in the overreaction. They might be in some serious trouble. Hey, guys, here's the schedule. They'll win this week against ULM.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
The last time I was at FCS or G5 school was ULM.
Historically, I don't know.
They're going to beat ULM.
They're going to. ULM is
atrocious.
Awful. They're going to beat Wisconsin. I'll give them that. Guys, they play at Georgia.
Loss.
Vanderbilt at home.
Loss.
I don't know if I'll listen to them.
This is I mean there's a real world they go 7-5 with losses to Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, and Oklahoma.
Why are you so confident they'll beat Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt beat them last year and hung 40 on them.
Yeah, I don't think Vanderbilt's surprising anybody this year. Like, you know what they are. But you know what? You know what, though, Will, you're right. Kane Womack or whatever they want to call that guy over there, he went at the podium today and said, yeah, we knew what was going to happen. What? So what you're admitting is you're telling me, yeah, we're just not good. We're not disciplined.
He couldn't beat Troy anytime he was there at South Alabama. That's all I gotta say.
Ryan Williams has I'm not gonna make fun of mental health, but Gavin put that in there.
That's an Alabama football player.
guys, it just wasn't flying.
That's just how stark of a difference the programs are. From Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. You wouldn't have seen any of that.
Because you didn't have to. Like,
no, I mean, Nick Saban, like we say it and it's an overused term, but he recruited dogs. If you want a dog, he didn't want anything to do with you. It didn't matter if you were a 5-star or not.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, biggest overreaction of the week. Does Alabama miss a bowl game? I mean, that would be crazy to think about. That's getting crazy. I'll go and tell you right now, they don't make the playoff.
No chance.
No chance. Now, can they turn this around and be respectable this year? Yeah.
They'll probably go 6-6 and win the Iron Bowl and backdoor their way to a bowl game. That's probably what's going to happen.
I'll give them 8-4. What I saw, and like I said, we're overreaction. We're not trying to tell you what's going to happen, but
I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen.
If I go back to 2-3 weeks ago and we were doing floors and ceilings of SEC teams, I would have told you the beginning of the year that Alabama's floor was 9-3.
Yeah,
just because I think that's a low season for Alabama football. It's 9-3, and going now, I don't know if I can say 9-3 is a floor. If it started off like this, and there's so much, so many rumors going out that what's being said is being said. I just don't know if they can win 9. I mean, 8's a floor now.
I didn't think Ty Simpson was that bad. Joe the Pilot says Ty Simpson cannot be the starter. I don't think that's on Ty Simpson.
The defense was horrendous.
They're not physical. They weren't. Florida State beat them up. And I want to make sure we're saying that because we got a lot of ACC fans that are going to watch this. We're not trying to sit here and say Alabama sucks. That's the reason we're not giving credit to Florida State. Florida State came out and put pedal to the metal and said, we're going to open up a can on you for 60 minutes. And that's exactly what they did. So good job by Tommy Castellanos and all these guys. And like you said, Gus Malzahn, Alabama never truly responded. And that's something we have never seen. To Joe's point here about Ty Simpson, I think he can start for you. I don't think he's the best option. And it really begs the question of, good God, I mean, what has the last month of fall camp really looked like? If that's the results you have, that's the worst part about this. This isn't like you had a week to prepare. You've known who you were playing and the tendencies. And I'll say this too, Will. I mean, it's not disrespect to Gus Malzahn. People know what he does. You know what he does. It's not like the book is out on Gus Malzahn in terms of what he does. It's can you do it or not? And they just didn't do it. Like they just did not defend it. And that to me is very interesting. Anthony says this, and we'll kind of go to the next portion after this. A Saban-led team would at least be very physical and disciplined. That team was not. And I think that's the best way to describe it.
Can I comment on that one real quick?
Yeah.
There's a clip, and I think y'all both seen it probably. If you seen the play of Bray Hubbard running across the field, jogging.
Yeah, there was several plays
brutal.
like that.
And it's a play where if he runs full speed, he makes that tackle, and they don't score a touchdown. That, or at least on that play. But he is jogging. Now, if Saban's there, or if anyone with a backbone was there, he is off the field, and he is not starting until he shows that he can run every single play. And I read a comment from an Alabama fan that said, if this was Saban's team like in 2011, he would be running until his legs fell off.
He wouldn't be on the team anymore.
It shows a lack of discipline and a lack of commitment by these coaches to prove to these guys that they're going to hold them to a higher standard. That is Alabama football. The standard is high in Alabama, and they do not show it right now.
I think the standard's been erased.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird, and I know Deb's commenting on this kind of thing. Not to this extent. Not to that extent. You'd have blips, and you'd have different. You'd have some games,
and they lost games because they didn't have the depth. And NIL and the transfer portal has a lot to do with that. They just didn't have, like we said earlier, they didn't have, it'd be 22 guys on both sides of the ball that would play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a running back that was third string a few years ago that was a first round draft pick, by the way. Let's not forget that. It was pushed out of the team. They told him that he needed to go to the draft, but he was saying he was going to come back and stay one more year. I saw that interview. That's Josh Jacobs, by the way.
Yeah.
He was getting third string snaps and was pushed out, told him that he had a draft, and he was a first round draft pick. That's how good they were.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. Joe the Pilot says this. Jalen Milroe might have been the guy keeping that Saban era alive. I think they got bailed out by him. You know, we spent all offseason talking about, and I said this, I think I picked Alabama to win the national title, if I'm not mistaken, this year, or even go. I can't remember. I have to be quoted on that. We all thought, and I think the general football consensus would have told you, hey, they're probably going to be better because they got a guy that can throw the football now. Jalen Milroe would have just –
I don't remember saying that.
Milroe, to me, like, bailed you out of what maybe was to come. It delayed what we're seeing now because you couldn't really get rid of him, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. And, you know, I've seen some people say, like, Kalen DeBoer has that intensity. Look, I get that. There's people who get, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, there's certain people who get more access to things than the everyday common college football fan and us and all that kind of stuff. But that was not good. That was not good. And that's why it's an overreaction. Is it really going to happen? No. But that if you want to get emotional about an overreaction there, Alabama being really, really bad, it was interesting. So
DeBoer looked like he didn't know what was going on during that game.
The post-game press conference was wild. I mean, go check that. It's lost. It's lost. Key to Success, by the way, says, let's be honest, there's nobody who could have taken over that job and not been criticized. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Exactly.
But I mean, it was always going to be hard shoes to fill, but I don't know if that gap, I don't know. Gavin also pointed this out. I want to talk about, what about this 4-game stretch from October 18th to November 15th with a bye week sandwiched in between two? Home against Tennessee, at South Carolina, bye, home against LSU, home against Oklahoma.
They could lose all 4 of those games.
Yep.
I mean,
because it's not just the discipline factor for Alabama; it's the fact they didn't look good, like on the field. So they didn't. There was not a lot of effort.
If you can't control the lines of scrimmage, you're not going to win.
Yeah, I just didn't expect that. And maybe Florida State's just unreal. You know, maybe they are. I don't know, but that would be quite a turnaround. I don't think Florida State's unreal in terms of that, but it would be it'd be interesting there as well. Ralph, Alabama could lose 8 games this year. Ooh.
That'd be wild.
I like it, though. Overreaction Monday. I'm going to go ahead and go. Ralph, give you some more time to think about yours. If you already got it. I don't know if you do.
Oh, I got mine, but you can go if you want to.
Paycheck hit, by the way, fellas. Paycheck hit. I think LSU,
I'm going to be in full agreement with you.
I think LSU is going to make the playoff, and I think LSU is going to be at least a quarterfinal team. Maybe even semifinal team.
Can I stop you real quick?
They're going to win the whole thing.
Who picked them to win the SEC?
You did.
Although I did pick them to lose to Clemson. But
but everybody did, in fairness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. LSU. Look, I'll say this, and I'm going to make people mad, but we already did that today, Ralph. I don't know if you saw it. Wild, and earlier today on the show, the live show. The watching a game on TV is really it gives you an interesting glimpse, right? It gives you a glimpse. You're able to see some things. When I've been around this team for this group for about a month and now and some change. Fall camp practices, interviewing the guys, you know, obviously in and around the post game locker room on Saturday night. You know, LSU used to have defenses, not necessarily offenses. They've had a couple, but they had defenses, guys, that were feared in terms of the defense they put out there. This defense on Saturday, I haven't seen LSU play like that since I've been here. I haven't seen LSU's this defense played more aggressive than the 2019 team did in terms of defense. That's not my words. That's people who were here in 2019. Garrett Nussmeier right now is the best quarterback in college football. And, you know, people laugh and whatever kind of thing. Man, I'm telling you, they're not going to be number 1 tomorrow. If I had an AP vote, I'm putting LSU number 1. That game, 17-10 was the final. That game could have been worse and probably should have been worse. Clemson had one drive where they did anything. It was a 13-play, 75-yard drive in the first half. They did not score in the second half. By the way, the fumble from Bauer Sharp, they're on LSU's 30. They go -1 yard in 3 plays and kick a field goal. LSU spent money, and in week 1, they needed a win. They won the 1-0 shirts. It is interesting to me.
I like
that
it.
Defense is, I mean, it works. It works. You know, I think LSU is. I saw the championship odds kind of float around. I think Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in college football, and I think LSU has a top 5 defense in the country at the season's end. This is a really, really good football team. Now, I will say this too, and Bodley puts this where too. This is something that's very interesting. If you're just if you're just looking at a final score, you say, Bryce, they won 17-10. You know, whatever. They dominated every single statistical category in the box score. Every single one of them. Clemson could not run the football, and they made a quarterback that a lot of people felt like was the top quarterback in the country, or one of, including myself, completely incapable of playing the position. Now, Clemson has got some interesting storylines that they've got to figure out very quickly. I mean, I said on the show earlier today, I said it on their Bengal Tiger podcast. You know, Ralph, you were there on Sunday night. Like, that game at Georgia Tech got a whole lot more interesting in terms of what they do in 2 weeks. This LSU team can be very much for real. I think they are for real. They've got a gauntlet of a schedule to go, right? 2 weeks they play Florida. 2 weeks after that, they go to Ole Miss. If they go through that and they're 5-0 going into October, to me, they're the number 1 team in the country and one of the favorites to win the whole thing. Does that end up happening? I don't know. But what you saw on Saturday, that plays, and that can play every single week. Harold Perkins is a monster and a menace. He was all over the place. Patrick Payton looked good. Jack Pyburn was setting the edge. LSU hasn't had anyone set the edge since God knows who. I mean, A.J. Halsey gets suspended the first half, comes out in the second half and nearly kills the tight end over the middle, and he somehow still catches the ball. They've got weapons. They didn't even utilize all the weapons. I understand it. Like, I get that, you know, people say, hey, you're biased. You cover the team every single day. I'm not an LSU fan. I mean, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm a fan of watching this defense play. That was nasty work they did defensively on Saturday, and they kept what I think is a pretty good offense completely under wraps, dominated them. So take it where you want. Well, I'll go with you on, I mean, I know you guys were watching the game as I was there. I mean, what did you see from the TV version that maybe I didn't see? Maybe I'm wrong, or just your thoughts on it?
I mean, LSU just dominated on the lines of scrimmage. I mean, and that was a surprise, especially from that offensive line.
Yeah.
We talked about it. They had to replace 2 NFL tackles. They were going up against a Clemson defense that I think all 3 of us thought probably had the best D-line in the country, and they just manhandled them. They kept Nuss upright all night. Did a far better job than I think we could have expected, and you know, they kind of did it in spite of Brian Kelly. I saw Key to Success commented earlier about he doesn't trust Brian Kelly. Feel the same way. That end of the first half was shocking.
Yeah.
So when I say that LSU had to do it in spite of their head coach, kind of some of that, just mismanagement there. But I'm with you 100%. I mean, this is a top 10 defense at worst. I mean, we said it the day LSU hired Blake Baker that he's going to get this defense right.
Yeah. Took a year, but
yeah, it took him a year, but that's how fast things can change in college football now with the transfer portal.
Yeah. I mean, Ralph, before I go to you on this, Will, you hit the nail on the head about the offensive line. That's what surprised me the most. I've told y'all all fall camp that this LSU defensive line's been destroying LSU's offensive line. Like, oh my gosh. They invested, they went and got guys. That happened. I mean, they overwhelmed Clemson's offensive line, who probably isn't one of the best units in the country, but they've been pretty solid, right? Like, I don't think Clemson's a very physical football team year in, year out, but they usually hold their own. LSU made them look bad. Offensively, we didn't talk about Peter Woods a ton. Like, he had some things happen. We didn't talk about TJ Parker a lot. Will Helt had a sack. I was really under the impression that Clemson would be able to feast up front. I'm going to tell you one thing. Sammy Brown, okay. wasn't a factor. Wade Woodaz wouldn't be on the field if it was LSU. There was I don't know if I texted y'all this. There was a consensus amongst the LSU media there of what the issue was with Clemson's offense. I'll let your imagination run with what it is. But I told Gavin this. That's what I told Gavin on the ride back from the airport. LSU's defense and the offensive credit the offensive line. Braylon Moore wins SEC Offensive Lineman of the Year or Offensive Lineman of the Week. Big reason. What I say last week, guys, he calmed things down. That left guard play was okay. I don't know, Ralph, were you surprised? You want to talk about that for a second? Were you surprised LSU's offensive line play after what I'd been kind of saying?
Yeah, I mean, you told us that the entire, fall, camp has just been like that. It's just been beating up the offensive line, and they've had some issues. I really wasn't going to talk about the offensive line, but I will. But
no, to go where you want with it.
I was going to make a comment that they moved the ball on the ground way better than I expected them to.
Yeah,
Peter Woods was non-existent, really, in more ways that he should have been. I feel like TJ Parker obviously going to be a top 5 draft pick next year, and then he played the best game he could. He also had a penalty which caused them a huge loss, and then that's a lack of discipline in that play.
That was a frustration penalty too.
It was frustrated. Yeah. He's running off, and he sees Nussmeier. People can say he got pushed or he's tripping. No. You don't hit someone like that if you're tripped or anything like that. That has a frustration penalty. It was an incomplete pass, 4th down coming up. You get 15 yards on the 1st down. That's bad. But I really like this offensive line, man. They gave Caden Durham some big gaps to run through. I mean, Nussmeier had a run over 10 over 8 yards. Bryce,
take that, Gavin. Take that.
How many times have we talked about Nussmeier not being mobile enough? Because you can't. I mean, you're really not normally mobile, and it's just able to kind of roll out there, get a 1st down. Had a QB sneak for a 1st down. Great play call, by the way.
Yeah,
I love that play call. Everyone's kind of motioning, calling audible. It was running snaps and goes for a 1st down. That's perfect. He does not need to do any more running than that. Had that one mobile run and a sneak. That's all he needs. He
looked uncomfortable diving for the 1st down, by the way. I don't know. That looked uncomfortable.
But I wanted
to go to Jay Johnson. Yeah.
It was a touchdown.
Oh, it's okay. So
that's a touchdown. What has happened?
And we can go to last night's or either last night's game or yesterday's game where they had the same incident.
South Carolina game.
South Carolina game. The same incident, and we don't know what is he dropped the ball. That was the worst call of that game. I'm sorry. There was a lot of bad calls in that game. That was one of the worst calls, Bryce. I know you were frustrated watching it, and I don't know what your angle was for the end zone. But I can tell you right now, everyone watching that game on TV could tell you that was a touchdown.
So I'll give you that. So we were where he made the throw on the right side of the field. Really, we were right on top of it. I'll be real with you. When I saw the TV copy, I was like, "Oh, that's not that's a touchdown." Like, I mean, we saw it in real time. I was like, "He's in." And then Dev says right here, "What y'all know about football actions or football moves?" I don't know. It's funny that Des Bryant even commented on the post. My coworker Matthew Bruni, he looks at me, he goes, "It's not a catch." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because I was a Cowboys fan, and if Des Bryant's wasn't a catch, then nobody gets to have a catch." And so I get that. But seriously, like, I was even listening to local radio this morning. They're like, the rule says if you cross the plane or touch the pylon, the ball's dead. Like, at that point, it doesn't matter what happens.
Right.
That throw, by the way, I said this on a podcast last night, or I said it on a show an hour ago. That's not just a throw you say, "Oh, that's an NFL throw." That's a throw a lot of NFL quarterbacks aren't making. Like, that's I'll tell you one thing. That is the tape that will lead someone to taking him in the top 5 picks, if not the number 1 pick overall next year. Because someone's going to look and say, "Yep, that plays."
And he ain't got to go far.
No.
Because the Saints don't have a quarterback on the roster.
At him all.
Oh, yeah. I want to make one more thing. And Bryce,
go ahead. Yeah.
I've watched a lot of those Bengal Tiger stuff, and I said it last week on the show. The red zone offense, the goal line offense.
Punching it in was huge.
Not even punching it in, Bryce. Giving that ball to the man, the myth, the legend, the freak of nature, Trey Green. I'm going to tell you something. That drive, by the way, talk about just bullying Clemson's defense. They ran the same formation 3 plays in a row.
They were hitting triangle on the PlayStation controller, just saying "Turbo, let's go."
And then right on the goal line, they flip it all the way, put Trades to the left side by himself with an undersized corner, and everyone and their mother should have known that the ball was going to Trades Green on a fade, and he's going to bully whoever was in front of him, and he did. That's just great play calling. I was impressed by that. I could tell there's a lot of LSU fans that are really relieved by that situation because they had a horrible goal line offense last year. I mean, even red zone offense, I guess you'd say, and scoring 2 touchdowns in the red zone. You go 2 for 3, I think, on touchdowns. You have 1 field goal in the red zone, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not considering that missed field goal because that should have been a touchdown in the first place. But
yeah,
and he got hurt, quote unquote hurt. That's what I was told by someone in the box.
he did.
Either way, I was impressed by the offensive line play. I was impressed by Nussmeier. I was really impressed by the play calling, though, because in the second half, I think I said this to you last night, Bryce. The last 11 throws were 11 for 11.
Yeah,
that's I don't care who you are.
Dialed in.
That's Nuss being comfortable in his bag and ready to play.
Yeah, I'm with you. LSU national title contender, if not one of the favorites. And I think they'll be a top 3 team tomorrow when the AP poll comes out. My AP poll, by the way, is probably going to be Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Georgia, Texas, Miami. Miami was a big winner. I don't know if that's where you're going to talk about, Ralph. Ralph, what's your overreaction, by the way? What you got for us? We got 13 minutes.
I don't think we closed the book on Arch yet.
Okay.
Look, I know what people are going to say about Arch. Yeah, he had a rough game. That's not a rough game. That's just Matt Patricia being really prepared for that game. I think Arch is still very talented. I think he made some really rookie mistakes, and I say rookie. Yeah, he's technically a junior, but that's his first career start on the road at Ohio State, the defending national champions. Also, Lee Corso was on the field for his last pick there. Who wouldn't be a little nervous in that game? Just a tad bit. And I thought in the second half, he played better. That touchdown throw was a great throw. Yeah. I thought there were some times where I kind of questioned his play calling, his play selection and his pass selection, and he should have scrambled more, I thought. But I don't think Texas's offense was that bad. They made some, like I said, they had some miscues and some options, but you're playing against one of the best teams in the country for a reason. You're going to have bad plays. Ohio State's not a bad team. I don't think Ohio State looked terrific, honestly, offensively. I think Julian Sayin has more question marks than I think Arch does going into the next week. Now, Texas has some time to get into the swing of things, but I'm not ready to say Arch is a bust yet. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Ralph. I mean, this is my take, and we texted about it when we were talking about, what our SEC power rankings and where we wanted them. Ohio State's really good, like defensively, and Matt Patricia is a really good defensive coordinator, and so that to me, and key to success, says this: what person in the world wants to first start an OSU? Worst place to get your feet under you? Yeah, it is
exactly. I
mean, exactly.
Lee Corso, who is just the grandfather of college football here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Picks his last head. He's going to pick Ohio State. The whole entire crowd's a standing ovation. You're on the field or about running the field and playing the shoe for the first time in your career. Yeah, I'm going to be a little nervous and not have my best game ever.
Dev asked, does Texas have a dude at wide receiver? They don't have Jeremiah Smith because he doesn't exist anywhere else.
But they
got Ryan Wingo.
Yeah, they got Ryan Wingo. They've got Jamie French. They've got DeAndre Moore. They've got Khalid Lockett, Michael Terry. They've got guys. I will say this. I think this is more on Steve Sarkisian than anything else. I did not like the play calling. I thought it was really weird. It was jumbled. Truthfully, I'll say this, and then Will go to you on it. I kind of think they knew Arch would struggle, which they should have. The hype was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Because all of that kind of stuff, like the hype was so far-fetched, I think people just expect him to come in there. Or your casuals like, well, if he says that good, he should throw for 330 and 5 touchdowns.
He's a Manning. Football is easy to him.
Exactly. I think they knew that, and they really tried to protect him, and it didn't let him get into a rhythm at all because everything was really, really weird, and he was not comfortable in it. So, and he wasn't accurate. That, to me, is the biggest thing. Like, when he had time, he wasn't accurate. Ohio State did a good job. They got a decent secondary. Caleb Downs played really well in this game. I don't know, guys. I mean, Will, go to you on this. Like, I'm with Ralph. I agree with you. I don't think it's time to say he's a bust, but
No.
I think it's just he's a young player who has to develop, and the hoopla around him hasn't allowed for that to happen.
Yeah, Arch is going to be fine. This was, his whole situation is like impossible for any normal person to be successful. Like if he would have come out and just been what everybody thought he would be, then I'd be like, yeah, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's going to do more than Brady, both of his uncles, anybody, you name him. He's going to be better than anybody. The hype was it was impossible for him to live up to the hype. And I mean, and Ohio State showed why they're still a contender for the national title, even with all the pieces they lost, showing how good they are, especially on defense. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
That's a top 5 defense.
And they're replacing a bunch up front, which is impressive.
Yep.
And a new DC, like we mentioned.
Ohio State was just very impressive. First real road game for Arch. Yeah, he's played on the road a few times, but this was like his first real road game. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
I also don't think. Oh, we'll finish. Will.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I was just gonna say I don't think his weapons really helped him out either. Like I don't think they were. I'm not saying they were playing soft or anything. I just don't think they were going for the ball as much as they would be if it was like a normal game. I feel like if it was I just feel like there wasn't much help to Arch in that first game.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
And it's just like the running game wasn't there. They ran the ball better than Ohio State did, and that's saying a lot because Ohio State felt like they controlled the game the entire time on the ground. I just don't know if I could say Texas was 100% behind Arch in that game. I should say behind Arch, but like in helping him, it wasn't there. It just felt like he was doing way too much to force things, and that's just not how the quarterback he is. He shouldn't be having to force throws and force plays and force completions. I just think he needs to just calm down, be a quarterback. You're in a great offense with a great coordinator. Will said it last week. He's a great coach. He's a good offensive mind.
Yeah. All right, 2 questions I want to get to. Before we do that, we're going to run one quick commercial, or I guess 2 technically. Make sure you check out section 103. We've got the polos. I was rocking the Georgia Tech one earlier today. The top one, LSU fans, is sold out. The purple one, it is sold out, but you can still get all the rest of them. They do a fantastic job. These are seriously super comfortable. They fit great. Great opportunity to wear these all college football season long. I believe Ralph's going to be rocking one in a couple of weeks down here in Baton Rouge. It's going to be very, very, very awesome. To rep the brand and have a good time doing it. Use code TCB10 for 10% off your order there today. And we got one more ad, brand new partnership. I guess not new, but we're renewing it this year with our friends over at Cajun Cousins.
Hey everyone, Bryce Koon here with the Crowded Booth, and I'm excited to partner with Milton and Drew McCluskey as they get on their new venture, the Cajun Cousins Company. It's an all-stop shop for some of the best food and atmosphere entertainment that you're going to be able to have, especially this fall as college football is right around the corner. What is Cajun Cousins Company? Well, Milt decided to start this business back in Columbia, South Carolina. That's where they're based out of. Drew initially joined him after spending some time with the Saints, but they offer catered Cajun delicacies such as crawfish boils and Aunt Dottie's jambalaya. They bring everything and they can set up anywhere. Look, folks, they're passionate about giving people a reason to gather and to get to the culture that they love so much. They're expanding that brand to the low country of South Carolina, the upstate area, and other areas of the Southeast. So look, if you're going to throw that tailgate party or you're going to have a big gathering, reach out to Cajun Cousins Company today over at CajunCousinsCO.com to get that quote. Tell them the Crowded Booth sent you. We can't wait to see what they have in store this fall.
Shout out Ralph Keith Kokinda watching the show live, play-by-play broadcaster for the Big Ten. He said he agrees with you on Arch Manning, by the way. He thinks it was a good job by Matt Patricia, so shout out. Sometimes we do know ball. All right, 2 questions I want to get to really quickly. We've got about 6 minutes. Let's spend about 3 minutes on each of these real quick. I'll start. Dev goes, is Cade going to be that guy for Clemson? One, he has to. The second part, I think they'll be okay. We're going to be mad because I think they play in the ACC, where he's not going to face that. But you see what he's done against SEC teams, and it's been tough, better competition. Now, I think the occasional team of the ACC can do that, but in terms of going to be that guy, can Clemson win the ACC with Cade Klubnik at quarterback? Yes, they've already done it. And 2, they can make the playoff and maybe even win a game there. So I'm not necessarily worried about that, if that's what he's asking.
I still think Clemson's going to win the ACC.
I said
Miami looked great but I'm still out on Mario Cristobal, and this was not a conference game, so Clemson still unbeaten in the ACC, and they can pretty much sleepwalk their way to Charlotte minus a trip down to Atlanta. They can probably sleepwalk the rest of their way. SMU probably give them some trouble. I don't know. SMU was not impressive.
They got to play Florida State, so who knows?
Oh, they do play Florida State.
Yeah, no, they've and Louisville, I think. So it is kind of tricky to see what could happen. But I'm with you. I think they win the ACC still. Ralph, is he the guy? You got 45 seconds.
He's fine. I think Clemson's fine. I think LSU's really good. I didn't really say much about the defense. I was really impressed with the defensive play. And Clemson is just okay with who they have at quarterback. And I agree with Will. They're still a favorite to win the ACC, in my opinion.
Well, you know who's hot? Cajun Cousins pepper sauce. Put some on the food tonight. It was amazing.
You already did that ad.
Well, I got to show off the pepper sauce too. That's part of the new campaign.
Well, I said his punishment should be he has to drink a whole bottle of that.
That's not happening, but we'll see. Okay, last question of the evening. You kind of hinted at is Miami legit? I'll tell you one thing. Carson Beck looked good. He got comfortable. Got a little emotional in the post game, saying he fell back in love with college football. I don't know what that's about, but I will say that I will say this. I think it is probably best for both teams to move on from their respective quarter situations. CJ Daniels bailed him out on that throw. That was unbelievable. That's not the CJ Daniels I watched.
CJ Daniels should have gotten his head taken off. But
well, true. 10 years ago, he would have.
2025.
Yeah. I guess the last part on this is Miami legit. What does that mean? I think they challenge to go to Charlotte. That's post week 1. I think Miami is a contender for the ACC title, which is probably what a lot of people thought before. Nothing's changed for me about Miami. Although that was an impressive win. Notre Dame was kind of weird, though. Defensively, Miami was more impressive. I will say that. Defensively, Miami looked better than I expected to him against Notre Dame. So.
Yeah, Miami is very good. They are very, very good. I mean, I said it on the show. Carson Beck is better than Cam Ward. And I think he showed that. I mean, as much as everybody wants to talk about Cam Ward, I think Carson Beck is that good, if not better. That was the Carson Beck we saw 2 years ago at Georgia. And, more experience playing weaker defenses week in, week out, and not playing SEC defenses. I still think it's going to be either him or now Nussmeier of who's going to be the first quarterback off the board in April.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing, and this is kind of going to Will. I think the pressure is kind of slightly off him now. There was so much pressure at Georgia after his 2023 season and how well he did there. And then, they kind of fell short of the national playoffs, I guess. And 2024 wasn't a great year, but it really wasn't a bad year on him. They led the country in drops that year. And I just think all that kind of got to his head and it caused a lot of issues there. And I think that no one backed him up. I think he needed somewhere a new place to go, somewhere he's closer to home. And I feel like he is a little more comfortable there. And I think all the pressure is kind of away from him where he can just go and play football. Because honestly, guys who just go out there and play football and just play the game tend to usually play better.
That's fair. Miami legit. We'll see.
Shannon Dawson is not a better offensive coordinator than Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo is hamstrung by Kirby Smart.
That's probably
rightly
true.
Or wrongly.
There's definitely truth to that. Under an hour, fellas. Action-packed show tonight. And we'll be live again tomorrow night previewing week 2.
I didn't know people watched this.
I didn't either, baby. I didn't know they did either.
80 viewers, baby. That's what we talked about. Park Ranger status.
Oh boy!
Nobody watches this. We don't know what we're talking about.
He won't make it this far in the video.
Not a game manager. Let's throw them all out there here at the end.
They won't make it this far past the video, so it's okay.
Nearly 400 people watching live, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
That's 2 shows in a row.
That is. We're on fire. We're on fire. Hey, also seriously though, thank you for the support last week. College bowl season's here. We saw the numbers go crazy both in audio listens and video last week. Awesome stuff. And, man, pumped to do it all season long. We'll be live tomorrow night, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, previewing week 2, talking a little college football, and then back live on Thursday for you Georgia Tech fans talking that. And we'll get to talk about Auburn on Wednesday and where they're going from here. Who they got? Big old Ball State this week.
Well, let's be careful there.
It's yeah.
They were held scoreless by Purdue, so I don't predict we're going to learn very much about Auburn this week.
It'll be more of what you want to see. What do
It's
you
a
want
recovery week, and it's a first home game with this offense. I think that's really what everyone's excited for.
Love it. Gotta love it.
16th straight Jordan-Hare Stadium sellout, by the way.
Gotta love it.
Shout out Section 103. Shout out All Natural BS and Cajun Cousins Company. We've got some potentially awesome news in the works for that Thanksgiving weekend, by the way, that we want you to stay tuned for. Subscribe to the show. Continue to like. Continue to share with your friends. College football all the time right here on the Crowded Booth. He's Ralph Lurie. That is Will Mannis. And my name is Bryce Koon. And we'll catch you next time tomorrow night here on the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.